I'm here with Bobby Knight, who is the Senior Vice President for Strategic Sales and Delivery for Modus.
Correct.
And welcome to the Seattle area.
Thanks for having me.
To talk about the trends that are happening in IT. So what's new? What's emerging?
So in IT staffing, Modus, as you know, is an IT staffing company. One of the trends we're seeing is more and more of our clients are moving to a VMS or MSP model. And what this has to do with is really the way that they procure resources. Another trend is that they're starting to really understand the value of contingent labor. With the economic downturn in 2008 and the way that that's been running, they really would like the flexibility of being able to bring resources on to be able to handle those spikes and also to be able to let go of resources that are not the W-2 type resources that they have on their current staff. So a couple of trends in the staffing side of IT.
So when they use the term flexible workforce, what exactly does that mean?
So as a contractor, you can ramp up pretty quickly. We can get a call on a Friday that says, I need 20 programmers at this location by Wednesday of next week. And the ability to really ramp and attack a problem or a project immediately through the workforce is what it really means.
So are we talking more onshore workforces or offshore? I mean, we talked earlier with other individuals from Modus about how trends are bringing work back here.
Correct. Yeah, in fact, we have a project with a large financial institution down in San Antonio where they actually had outsourced the entire testing project. And they asked us to come in and sort of pilot a program to bring that work back onshore. It was to the tune of over 100 resources on a project down there. I'm not sure how many people we eliminated in the offshore model, but essentially we're proving that from a cost perspective, we can be competitive by doing that work here onshore.
You usually don't hear that, though.
No.
The jobs are leaving the country, but IT, we're actually retaining more intelligence.
Well, certainly in the news you hear about every job that goes offshore, right? It's bad news sells,
sure.
Right?
Yeah, of course. Great headline.
And so what we're attempting to prove and what we have proven is that from a price standpoint, we can be extremely competitive. And there's a lot of issues that go along with offshore, right? The language barriers, the inability to access the resource, the time zone, all those sorts of things kind of go away when you do it onshore.
We've got something called a centralized recruiting model, as opposed to a decentralized model. What are the...
Yeah, so a centralized recruiting model is an area of focus for us within Modus. So we started this year building a centralized recruiting model both in Atlanta and in Denver. And what we're attempting to do is take these very large VMS accounts, right, where they distribute the requirements through a tool, and they're asking, you have very limited communication with the hiring manager, and they're asking you to be able to turn around a resume within 24 hours. And so what we're doing is with the centralized recruiting models, we have the ability to build these hot books of candidates, proactively doing the recruiting and having the names or hot books of people that we can go right to once we get a requirement. The other thing we're doing in the strategic delivery centers is we're building it around skill sets. So rather than have a team dedicated to a specific client, we have a team dedicated to a specific technology, like a Microsoft skill set, Exchange 2010, Link, SharePoint. These are very high demand skill sets, and we have the ability to proactively go out and recruit and bring those people in to support our client needs.
And you've been in this industry since it was an industry.
Well,
I've
been in the industry for about 7 years. I came from an IT company, a large integrator, and so I find the staffing business fascinating in that we put people to work every day. It's really kind of exciting.
How did you get started down this path?
Well, when I was at the large integrator, I used contingent staff to be able to ramp my team. We had a short period of time to ramp our staff. And, it was through accident, by a friendship my brother had with a guy. You've got to go meet this guy. I went over, had a conversation with him, found out what they did. I really had no inkling about what the staffing industry was or how big it was or who the players were. But the ability to be able to pick up the phone and say, I need a guy in Washington, D.C. that can go out and work at NSA who's got these skill sets and also a security clearance was phenomenal.
It's amazing. We're surrounded by all this technology, and we rely on people who are professional and who have these skill sets. And it sounds like Modus is really keying in on finding the right people for the job.
Absolutely. And the other thing we're trying to do is we're trying to predict in the future what are the skill sets of the future that are going to be very important. And I know you had Eric Marks here a couple weeks ago and talked to him about EHR. That's another very critical focus area for us. And we're dedicating a skill set alignment in our delivery center around electronic health records, because people with those skill sets in Epic and Cerner and Meditech are going to be very popular for the next 3 to 5 years.
In high demand, which means high salaries, which means, hey,
Sure.
pay attention to this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, thank you for sitting down with me today.
Sure.